Survivor's ready.
If anybody has a hidden immunity idol and you want to play it, now would be the time to do so.
The queen stays queen.
You said rustle feathers.
Did you do that?
Yeah.
I'm supposed to calamity. We have right bananas all the time.
Dude, my prize isn't even $1 million. My prize was that I fell in love in this game. Love at first sight. Her name is Candace.
You officially go down as the dumbest survivor ever.
Welcome to Not Game, All Personal. Hey, we are a Survivor podcast here to talk about all things Survivor. More specifically, the events of this week's episode. I'm Nathan. This is Tony. And Tony, we have our final five. They're here. What are we feeling about this final five?
I could not be more happy with this last episode. They finally gave us what we asked for and gave us no twists, and so I feel like we cannot complain with the outcome because we've been asking for this all season, and they finally gave it to us.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, certainly we can't complain that, Devin's going out has nothing to do with his allies getting screwed by twists, and Cirie going out has nothing to do with her ally previously getting screwed by a twist, and yeah, no, nothing to do with anything going on this season.
No
twist.
Just
fair, clean Survivor.
So,
yeah,
we have
right.
to be.
This is my
when
favorite
they're right,
episode
they're
of the
right.
season. Best episode yet. This is what I wanted the whole time. Just Cirie Fields going out before the finale. That's all we wanted.
The like 3 times that they don't have a twist, one of like my top 5 favorite players on the season goes home.
What was the other time?
Like you
With
could even these two, and then you could you could potentially throw in Christian because like they've done that before. Like that's not a new twist. They've done the take one person to do a challenge. Like yeah, the Jimmy Fallon thing, but I feel like he was going either way. But still, yeah, it's just we've said it all season. Like they have to recognize that Cirie has to go, and like same with Devins, and they did, and they had the shot and they took it.
Yeah. No, I mean this is not going to be a podcast about complaining about twists for now because you're right. Like there's nothing there to complain about. What I will complain about, and I don't even know if this is a complaint. I think this is just more observation. Is like this is just almost to be expected. Like when you look at this final five, it's pretty dull. Like not gonna lie. Like I think there's one standout where it's like if this person doesn't win, I think it's going to be a pretty bummer win. And I think this is more a critique of the casting, where when you have players like a Joe or a Rizzo who nobody knows and maybe isn't as like eccentric on the island, like they're gonna slide to the end. I cannot fault these players for voting out Devins and then voting out Cirie. That is the correct thing to do because those two players sitting next to any combination of this final five will win the game. The issue is with I'm not going to say this is specific to 50. I think all of these returning seasons to an extent have this issue where it's like these lesser threats are going to skate their way to the end just by default. So that's been going on. I mean, let's not pretend like Amber was a huge threat going into All-Stars, right? Like that's been a theme.
Yeah.
So it's not like a complaint, more just like I think we are just back where we find ourselves during most of these returning seasons.
Would you say I feel like Second Chances and Winners at War are probably the only examples? Well, I mean, a bunch of people who aren't great got to the end in both of them, but the person that won, well, I don't even know if I'd say Jeremy was like that big of a threat going into Second Chances.
Mm-hmm. There were bigger threats.
Tony
for sure.
definitely was. Huh? Yeah. And I was going to say, like, his strategic thing was keeping around those people who are going to be bigger threats than him. And, like, that was, like, his big thing. And so it's just the nature of these returner seasons where, like, a lot of people that get to the end are going to be the lower profile people. Like, you hope that all the people who are big, like, if Ozzy had played his idol, like, I think this plays out a little bit differently at least. But it's probably just, it's just him instead of Devins or Cirie. Like, I think it's always going to be those 3, basically, that are taken out at this point.
Yeah. I'm not exactly sure if there is a solution to this, or like maybe this isn't an issue at all. Maybe this is just us complaining that our favorites are going. because I think like the only solve would be like to stack it so that there's no goats, like it's just a
Hmm.
season of big threats and that's it. But I think even like there's always going to be a lower target. Like that's just
Hmm.
how it's going to be by default. And so I don't know, like on other seasons, like last season, Rizzo was a pretty big target and he was a pretty big threat
Hmm.
to like do pretty well if he made it to, final tribal. For years, people said Aubrey should have won her season. So like she should be a bigger, so like I think it's just in comparison. It's like when you're comparing these people to Suri and Ozzy, no one's going to be a big threat because those are
Hmm.
two of the better Survivor players that have ever played the game. So I don't know. I don't know what the solution is. I don't know if we could trace it back to see like, did Suri and Ozzy mess up somewhere way back when, and they should have kept coaching, until the end, so there would have been another time. I don't know. Like I don't know what you could point to. I think it's just like there's never a reason to vote Joe out of the game. So by default, Joe
Yeah.
is gonna like you're never gonna waste a
Yeah.
tribal on that, and that's just kind of what it
Hmm.
comes down to.
It's this reality of Survivor that I feel like I wrestle with a lot, where like whether I like it or not, Sandra has won twice and has earned the votes twice and therefore is one of the best Survivor players. And I might not like it. I might not like her style of play, but that's the case. I can talk all day about how awesome at Survivor Suri is. The fact of the matter is she has no physical ability, and so in these late game situations there's nothing she can do to save herself because she's so clearly such a big threat. Like, and so, and even thinking about Devins, I was thinking about it while I was watching it, like, do I think Devins is a good Survivor player? Like, I don't know that I do. I think he's a lot of fun. I think I love him. I think he'd like spices things up and he's willing to try things, sure, but like he both times he's played, first time he was voted out or he was voted out and then came back and then just had to like immunity his way to the end. This time kind of a similar thing where like he just had to fight his way to the end and just had some insulation. So it's just a reality of like that's what this game is. Like it's not what you want it to be sometimes. It's not what you're rooting for sometimes, but these low key games are the ones that are going to win.
Yeah, and I was even like, I don't know, to talk about Devins and Suri before we really break down the final five here. Um, it's like I'm not even sure what more Devins could have done. I think it's just like he has this persona that's attached to him that even when he tries to shake it, he can't really do that. Because I think like he said it well. I always love like if it feels like when Jeff knows who's going, he like gives them a platform this season. Like, well, Devins, if it
Mm-hmm.
is you tonight, please tell us what this, which is kind of cute. But uh,
Yeah.
he did talk about like how he tried to build relationships more so this season than the previous one. And
Mm-hmm.
I think he did a pretty decent job. I mean, like he had a solid alliance with Christian and Emily, and even like had somewhat working relationship with like Suri at points, Aubrey at points. So it wasn't like he didn't try to do these things. It's just almost like a personality thing that just does rub people the wrong way, because
Mm-hmm.
even before he did any antics, Joe was annoyed at him, right? Like it was
Yeah.
like episode 2 where I don't even remember something involving like Savannah that like there was like an alliance forming and then Rick didn't like tell Joe right away or something, so then it was like that whole back and forth of like just like, oh man, I don't like how you're playing this game. And so it's just like
Yeah.
I don't know if you can ever shake that off. And unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
like I don't think there's a season that like Devins could be a good player. I don't know if anyone's ever going to give him that chance again.
Yeah. He's, if he won, it would be it would just based on the way he plays, it would have to be in the same vein as people who I don't think either of us consider to be like great winners, like Mike White or Ben, like where he has to idle or immunity his way to the end.
Mike White.
And that's just, no, Mike, is that, no, Mike Holloway, Mike Holloway. That's
I
my
was
bad.
like, Mike White did not win, Tony.
No, wrong. He was, yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know why I went Mike White. Yeah, Mike Holloway. Like, and that's like an interesting thing to, because I love him so much, but you just recognize like, yeah, but he's not that great of a player, and that's fine. But like, that's just like I love him on my TV, and I'll take as much Devins as you'll give me. But
Mhm.
whoever wins does owe him $1 million, I would say.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah, and kind of like in a similar but different way, I think Suri is interesting because she is a great player. I don't think anyone would deny that.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could make the argument she deserves a spot on the Mount Rushmore if we're limiting,
Mm-hmm.
if it's a 4-person Hall of Fame there. The argument is there even without a win. I don't think anyone would deny the best player to never win the game.
Mm-hmm.
And yet I don't think she will ever have the chance to win the game. She could play 10 more times and she is always going to have this reputation, and unfortunately she is such a good player that like that carries over where it does. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she could, like, I am shocked she came in 6th place. I really am.
Yeah.
Like, you look at this cast, it's like, how did they let Suri get to 6? How did they let her get so close? And we saw her do some incredible things this season. I was really hoping that she'd pull off one more move, and it looked like there was a chance of hope perhaps, but I don't know. Like, I don't think there's anything she's going to be able to do to ever win this game.
No, it does. And now it's like, it's not even an issue with how she plays the game. It's who she is too much. Like, regardless of whether or not like, they could cast an entirely new group of people with Suri who have never watched Survivor, so have no idea, or traders have no idea who she is. And I think she could win that. But like, if it's anybody who knows Survivor, like the legend of, like, no matter what, if she gets to the end, she's winning. She's like a victim of her own success in a way, where like she's just never gonna get it, no matter how, unless they threw twists that really felt like they were trying to give it to her, which I kind of wish they did. But I'm also very thankful that like there wasn't this episode. Like, she had to win an immunity challenge, and she wasn't gonna do that because that's never been her. I don't think she's ever won one over her 5 seasons, and so. She's incredible at so much of the game, but that one piece of getting to the end, she cannot she just doesn't have that. And unfortunately, that's a massive piece of the game.
I'm trying to think. So now she has come. Was her first season 3rd place, or was that
4th?
That was 4th because she lost to Fire, correct?
Yeah.
So she has come in 4th,
4th, 3rd,
whatever it was on Heroes vs Villains. That was a
12th, I think, or something like that.
Was it 6th?
6th in Game Changers, and 6th in that. Yeah, 6th.
Like, that's great. Like, that's insane. Like, having never sat at Final Tribal and coming literally that close 4 different times.
I wonder if she really had a chance during Game Changers or not.
Like, to win?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good question. I can't quite remember her narrative on that season. I feel like it wasn't very strong, as far as like being shown what she accomplished. But if it's not Sarah, like if she's sitting next to, the same 2 people, Troyzan and Culpepper, like maybe.
I think even if she's sitting next to Sarah, I think there's a chance she wins just from being Suri.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could do nothing an entire season and be sitting in those final seats, and there's a chance they give her the vote.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, going into this merge, I don't know if there's a final 3 that I think she loses.
No. Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I just don't think there is. And so that's the issue, is that's always going to be what it is.
And the issue is,
I think
been like that for probably the last 6 episodes. Like, who was the last person in, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know anyone who would have beat her.
I would almost say you could put anyone in there. Like, I think if she's in a final 3 with Tony and Sandra, I think she might win it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they might give it to her instead of, maybe that's weird because they're both 2-time winners. But if it's like her, Parvati, and Boston Rob, I think there's a chance I think there's a good chance Suri takes that, regardless of what happened in that game. Like, just assuming that they played their games the way that they play their games, I think that she could, like, I don't know that she loses against anybody.
Yeah.
Just because of, like, wanting her to get that win.
Right. Yeah. And I think that is, like, and I've mentioned this before, but, like, Tony really emphasized that on Winners at War, where it's like, I'm trying to give you a great winner for this All-Star season. And I think that is something that, especially on these returning seasons, they take into consideration, where, like, who is the representative? Because, like, yeah, the money's great, for some, I mean, $2 million is amazing. Don't get me wrong. But like, you know, for a lot of these people, like, you know, maybe some need it more than others. Like the title of it is such a coveted prize, even more so than the money for some of these people. And so like we want the representative of our season to be worthy. And so I think in that aspect, a lot of these returners would just vote for her by default.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't. She's gone.
She be gone. Love her.
Yeah. I did not realize this was a double tribal until they went to the first tribal. I don't know if I missed that announcement somewhere, but I was not paying attention to the time of the episode. I was just watching it like I normally do, and all of a sudden they're going to tribal. I was like, oh, I guess that makes sense. I guess they did do the immunity challenge, and I guess there is nothing more to do at camp right now.
Yeah, it jumped from to like it was like, oh, all right, Devins is going. Like it was like, oh, all right, we're already going. All right, cool. I know what's happening this tribal.
Yep.
And I think both of them were kind of like that. Like there was no like I knew pretty early on for both of them. I was like, oh yeah, all right, Tiffany won immunity. Now wonder, do you think Tiffany was ever actually the move before that immunity challenge?
Well, that
I couldn't
think
tell.
That's going to be the big question, because how high is her threat level actually going into the final five? Part of me thinks it is true, just based on the way they were all helping each other out, except for her and the immunity challenge. Like, Jeff just could not be more stunned that was happening. And I'm like, Jeff, why are you surprised by this?
You're supposed to know all the information, dude. What are we doing here?
Like, why are you surprised that these people can't spell and are needing to resource all five of them to beat one person? Like, of course.
Inconceivable is a pretty crazy word to make them spell, to be fair.
Sure. But the fact that like five, like none of them could make it out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I actually do think Tiffany was the target. And here's what I'll just get into my overarching issue with this final five. It's not so much like the players who are remaining, although like it is a bit of a bummer to see, like, you know, beginning of the season, if you would have told me this is the final five, I'd have been like, let's just skip the whole season then. But it's the way that like we are not getting the proper perception of how people are viewing them, because Tiffany, as we joked episodes ago, is just not getting any screen time. It was like 5 episodes in, and she only had 2 confessionals. Zach Bryan outranked her in confessionals at some point. If she is a big threat, which to me on paper, she's making moves. Her alliance got knocked out. She was like a sitting duck after D went. She's won. Is this her 3rd individual immunity? She almost won 4. If she would have gotten last week, she should be a threat. But yet, I do not believe for one instance she's going to win the game. And that's a fault on the way you are showing us her season. Like, you have this person that is just the textbook example of a threat to win the game, but I don't think anyone watching the show thinks she's going to win.
No, and that's just I feel like they're just... I feel like that's all the narrative that they're trying to give us. Like, they want us to be in on the winner, and so they don't want to tempt us to want her to win. And so, you know what I mean? Like, they don't want to deal with us being mad that she lost to somebody. So they're like, yeah, let's just not give her that much of an edit, and then people won't think she's supposed to win. Even though, yeah, on paper, it feels like she's playing a really, really good game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it is. So that bugs me. The other part that bugs me, and I think, like, at this point, it feels rather obvious that, like, Aubrey's probably going to win the game. It's just like, that seems like it's done already.
I was talking to some people yesterday who were like, I would say more casual Survivor watchers, and they were like, oh, Tony, who do you think's going to win? And I was like, I think it's pretty clear. And they're like, oh, let me guess. And so they were like, Rizzo. I was like, no, absolutely not. And they were like, so-and-so. I can't remember who they said, like Devins. And I was like, no. And they were like, who? And I was like, Aubrey. Like, it's so clearly Aubrey. I feel like we've been saying Aubrey for genuinely weeks. As like, okay, there's something.
I think it was episode 2 that we first.
It was early on that we're like, it was. I think episode 2 we're like, ooh. I think that was when we were like, ooh, Aubrey's, something's wrong there. Like, what's going on here? And then like episode 4, it was like, oh, yep, she's all right cooking. And so it was just like, oh wow, I maybe I am too deep in this. I'm recognizing it that early that it's like, oh, it can only be her. But it's because it's a winner edit where they're not doing anything. Like there's winner
Yeah.
edit, and we'll see if she wins, and we don't talk about edits.
No.
But if there's like a winner edit where they're doing things, it's like, oh, they're actually doing things. So like maybe they don't win. This is just like showing us the narrative of the episode.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they're trying to give her credit for the past few vote outs, and I think she gets partial credit for a couple of them, but I don't think she drove the vote in any of them because I think they all were like, I think Rizzo gets more credit in the last 3 votes than she does.
Well, yeah, it's the way that like they're only giving her the credit after the fact. Like while the move is happening, like while Ozzy is the target and Ozzy's getting voted out and it's this blind side on him, it's not her that is getting the screen time. It's the following episode where now we get this monologue of like, that was my move. And let me tell you about my season that I should have won, blah, blah, blah. And it's like that, like that's the difference. And I was like, I explained this to Elena a couple of weeks ago why I thought Aubrey was going to win. And as soon as the episode started last night, and it starts off literally with like Joe and Aubrey talking, and then Aubrey does her whole thing again, like talking about like when I lost to Michelle on Ko Wrong, it was blah blah blah. And then Elena's like, "Oh, I see it now. That's what you're talking about." Like she like her confessionals have nothing to do with what's happening. I was like, "Thank you. That's it." Like we have heard more about her losing to Michelle than we heard from Michelle on her own season. Like the amount of times she has like stays like, I went to the end of the game and I was so close this time, and it's always like
It'll
this,
be different.
she's always saying it in a way where it's like, now's the time to start playing, and then the episode proceeds to not show her playing.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had like 4 different episodes where her confessionals say that, where it's like, now I got the fire under me, or like, I would love to see a compilation if anyone has it of just like all it, because she just keeps on switching up the way to say the same thing. And similar to Tiffany, it's like if Aubrey wins the game, I don't necessarily have an issue, and I can point to moments in this season that give her the resume to win the game. The problem is the episodes have not been showing us it. It has only been her trying to convince us that they're her moves. And I'm like, if they are her moves, then just like show it to us.
It feels more like Liz and
It's exactly how it feels.
That's what it feels like. It feels
47?
Yeah.
46.
47. Right?
No,
She's with
46.
Q. No, 46, you're right, yeah. But like it feels more like that than anything else. But it feels like she's right. Like with Liz, it felt like, come on, Liz, you're insane. The way that's being portrayed with Aubrey is slightly different, where it's like, oh, I feel like the producers believe that this is true, or at least want us to. And Liz, it was always like for the bit. It was always like, oh, this is ridiculous. Q taking credit for my move. And it's like, well, it's Q's move. What are you talking about, Liz? You didn't do anything. And so it's such an interesting mix. I love it. I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that part of it. I don't know that I love. I mean, I guess I'm happier with her as a winner than anybody else, but
I think of the remaining
I don't know that I'm
5, yeah, of the remaining 5, that is the best outcome of this entire season. But it's not even like, this is nothing against Aubrey. Like I
No.
do enjoy watching her play, but it's the way that we're being shown her game this season. I saw I think it was Corey from Big Brother 25 had a good tweet last night where he's like, happy for Aubrey, but it's a little bit of a bummer that like she's winning on her like second worst game she's ever played. And like just
Yeah.
comparing her seasons where it's like, you got like
Yeah.
her number 1, you got her number 2. It's like, this is not in her top 2 seasons. And so I'm like, yeah, that's a good point. It's not the strongest game she's had.
And that's how it goes sometimes. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he was like, "Oh, who do you think is the best player of all time?" And he had like just finished watching Micronesia, and so I was like, "Oh, Parvati, I think is one of the best players of all time." He's like, "Oh, you think Parvati is one of the best?" And I was like, "You need to watch Heroes versus Villains to like fully understand why I think that Parvati is one of the best players of all time." Because like sometimes your winning game isn't the game that you actually play the best. And it's fascinating. Like, does she deserve a win based on how she's played in the past? Sure. I don't know. Maybe that makes me feel better about it. knowing that she has it in her to play better, just because she's not the one driving the moves doesn't mean she's not part of it. And so maybe I'm more comfortable with her winning because I know she is a winning game level player. And so I feel better.
It's
about
also
it,
it's not like she's playing a bad game. I think that's the part
No,
too. It's
that's
just
fair.
it's not
That's
a flashy game, and I think her confession last night outlining what she's doing makes perfect sense. Where it's like she is making sure she's sitting next to people she can beat, and she feels like that was her big mistake losing to Michelle, and it turns out that was right because Michelle had the jury votes, and I think Aubrey is just like, there's some people that like, oh, I just want to take the best of the best to get to the end, and she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take the people that the jury won't vote for. Like people aren't going to like Rizzo. I'm going to take him. People, Joe's not going to win the game. I'm going to take him. We'll see what she does about Tiffany because it sounds like she doesn't want Tiffany there, but like. I don't like. It's just it's not an entertaining strategy for us because we want to see the best of the best get to the end, but in her mind, she like her best game or her best chance of winning is to take these people.
She's been tight with Tiffany since Genevieve, hasn't she? And we just haven't seen that. Remember that in the first few episodes?
Yeah, no, we have not seen a single conversation with them.
Golly, that's wild that it just they're just there talking for so long. Or like, yeah, it felt like such a big thing and then it's just not touched at all.
But that's what I'm talking about, where it's like I think there is a version of this show or like this season where the narrative can like wow, Aubrey and Tiffany did it, like Tiffany was the only one that was telling Aubrey about Genevieve coming after her and saved her, but like that's not there. I often think about Aubrey's Idol and how much of a misplay that was. And I think I said, I was like, I don't think she should win the game because that was such a bad use of the idol. When she has that dumb line where it's like an Aubrey or an idol everyone knows about isn't an idol at all. Like, shut up. Like learn how to advance, survivor strategy. Come on. But like that was like nothing. Like her working with Christian and Devins to get out Genevieve, that seemed like it had nothing to do with her. That was all like Christian and Devin. Like, so she is there constantly in the narrative, but never the focal point, and that is very confusing.
It feels like she's along for the ride, and she's been in the right spot. I think she's got to still be perfect on votes, right? She was one of the ones that was perfect on votes, which, like you said, doesn't mean everything, but
no, it counts for something. Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, I'm at the point where you just kind of have to accept it, like she's gonna be the winner of Survivor 50. She's probably gonna be sitting next to, I don't know, Joe and Jonathan, and that's just how it's
There's a
gonna
part
go.
of me. There's a part of me that felt bad talking to the people the other day when I was like, very clearly Aubrey's going to win the game. Because there was a part of me that was like, did I just spoil the season for my friends? Because it's like, it's I truly believe that's like the inevitable outcome. And I just took away all the fun of the rest of the season for them potentially by just nailing that. And even like us talking about it for as long as we have on this, it's like, man, people who listen to us, they've just seen this coming for weeks. Or like, maybe they didn't believe us, but I feel like the closer we get, the more it's like, okay, yeah, this is going to happen.
Well, let's talk about the other people then. Just briefly. Let's just touch on them because they just at least deserve that. Who do you think is the second most likely to win the game right now?
Ooh.
I got my pick. You want me to tell you my answer?
My was like, because there's two different things. Who do I think is actually most deserving is different than who do I think is most likely.
Sure. That's fair.
And that's because I just want to give Rizzo a shout out where I think Rizzo is playing the best, if not the second best, if not the best game currently. Because I feel like he has been the focal point of a lot of these decisions. He's been in the majority group that's been making decisions. And so I feel like it should be Rizzo, but like I said, I just don't think they respect him at all. So I think it's between Tiffany and Jonathan, I think.
Mm-hmm.
for me, and I think I'd go Tiffany.
Part of me wants to say Tiffany, especially based on last night, how much we heard how apparently the jury loves her, and she does. I mean, like, she's got Dee there, who was the first in jury to maybe like go to bat for her and whatnot. But I think Jonathan isn't as like, it's not over for him.
He's got some locked votes, I think.
I think he's got some locked votes. I think, as much as it pains me to say it, because I've never been a big fan, but like, he is playing a pretty good game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if you were to like remove my pre-existing thoughts on like Jonathan or Aubrey, like if I didn't know Aubrey's game on 31 and I didn't know Jonathan's game on 42 and it was just them this season, I would probably say he's the better player. I don't know if that's a hot take, but like, just from what we've seen him do this season, like, he is doing good stuff. Now, I think there is just this slight miscalculation on jury management where, like, I know there's people that aren't going to vote for him. I know there are people that are going to vote for him. So, like, I think if he gets to the end, he will get some votes to win the game. And so, I don't know. I think I would go Aubrey, Jonathan, then Tiffany. Like, that'd be, like, my order there. And then maybe Rizzo, Joe.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think Joe has a chance no matter what. I just don't.
No.
But yeah,
nice guy,
I think,
not a winner.
Yeah. I think bump Rizzo up 2 spots for who I think actually deserves. I might put him over Aubrey for who I think actually deserves it. Which it feels wild
I would not disagree. I don't think I disagree. I think he has like a large resume socially. I think the Idol can. Here's the thing though, it's like I'm not convinced these players are going to respect his game simply because he's the new guy, and that kind of stinks. Like, it really does.
Yeah, I mean, the precedent is they don't let that guy win, even if they play a good game. Now, the precedent is Russell, and he sucks, but sucks as a person, to be clear. Very good Survivor player, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think, like, Rizzo, I think what's great about Rizzo is he has proved himself, I think, at least to the fans. I think, like, he was kind of a little polarizing even after he did everything he did on 49, like, as successful as he was, he didn't end the season, like, universally loved. And I think, like, he is walking out of this season much more loved than he was on 49. And I think the fact that he has been able to do the same exact thing with an Idol is one of the most absurd. And again, like, maybe it's not fair because they didn't see his season, but the fact that, like, he has 2 different groups of people and it worked twice, I think you cannot just account that to, like, oh, well, they were bad players on 49, or, oh, he got lucky, or blah, blah. Like, no, I think, like, there is something with him that he was able to do that. The issue is, I don't know, like, we haven't seen him at Final Tribal, so we don't know how he will present himself if he gets there. And I'm not convinced that all these players are going to see that as, like, a valuable move. I think a lot of them are just going to be like, yeah, you didn't use an Idol. Good job. And that might be it.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. So you said earlier, like, Aubrey saying that having an Idol publicly isn't an Idol at all, and that's dumb. I do think when you're, like, a threatening player, having a public Idol, because they're gonna take the risk and split the vote on you. I think he benefits a lot from being the young dumb kid, which I don't think he's dumb, but, like, that's, like, his perception, and I think it's gonna bite him in the butt. But, like, they still weren't trying to split the vote to get him out. Like, yeah, he had the Idol and he kept holding on to it. I don't know, to an extent, like, this time, I'm not trying to discredit him because I just said I think he's most deserving. But, like, Cirie was also in his corner, so she was protecting him the whole time. And they just don't seem threatened by him. Like, I don't know. I feel like it's fascinating how much season 41, both the edit for Erica and Xander, just, like, so much influenced how I view Survivor. Because it's Xander to a T, where, like, they're not worried about him at all. So that's why he doesn't need to play the Idol. So I guess you could argue that his threat management is good, but then that might bite him in the butt that he just can't win. And so, like, is it impressive that he just kept holding on to it? Sure. I think there's something that they still haven't taken that shot at all, though. You know what I mean? Like, they just haven't seen him as like a big enough worry to actually try to take that shot and make him lose it. They talked about it, I think, in one of these votes. I think
They
before the
talked
Devins
about
vote.
it in both of them.
Did they in
And
the
I
second? I don't
think,
remember. I didn't remember them talking about the second one.
yeah, and that's where, but again, like, when he didn't play it the second time during the Suri vote, Tiffany and
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan both had a very specific look, like a look of
Mm.
disgust. Like, you said you were going to play this idol, and that's why you know? So again, that's
Yeah.
where I'm like, they're falling for it just like they did on 49, but this time it doesn't look like they're respecting it. It looks like they're just
Yeah.
viewing it as, you're a liar, you're a snake. We should have, because I mean, Tiffany had a confessional after the Devins vote where she's like, I told them he wasn't going to play his idol. We should have put votes on.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there is something to like continuing to hold on to it and continuing to have that safety, because you could just throw it away like Aubrey did. But there's something to like Ozzy, they did try to blindside because they like were actually nervous about Ozzy. And I think there's something to, and maybe if he doesn't have an idol, they would have taken him out 3 votes ago. I just don't know that they would have. I feel like that's the only reason to go for him, is because he has the idol. Like, I almost feel like it is putting the target on his back more than if he didn't have it.
Mm-hmm. I suppose. I think it's just that Rizzo has found a way to use it in a, because I think like we talked about this in the early 40s where like there were a couple people that brought an idol all the way to the last time they could use it, and then it was like pointless, but they
Mhm.
viewed it as like, I had this idol and didn't need it, like that was the resume move for them. And I think Rizzo has found a way to just kind of dangle it just so he isn't an actual target. And I almost wondering, like, Aubrey saying that she was going to flush her idol and then flushing the idol, did that set a precedent where, oh, okay, so we're just in agreement that, like, if you say you're going to do it, you're going to do it. And are they expecting that from him as well? And because he's not
Mhm.
following suit, because like, I mean, we saw it, like, that one vote where Genevieve got voted out, and apparently Devin's like, we would have voted for Aubrey, which wasn't communicated to us at all.
Mhm.
They were upset with her because she didn't play her idol, and she held on to it. And that's why she got rid of it. So that's where I'm like, she had the opportunity to do what Rizzo did and didn't do it. And for me, I think doing what Rizzo did is more impressive and a better gameplay. But for the people playing the game, it seems like they have more respect for Aubrey, who's just like, guys, here's the idol, I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that. Yeah, I could. It is more impressive than just getting rid of it. Now, and maybe I'm coming from this perspective. If I were playing like with my buddies, like I have in the past, I would play the idol if everybody knew about it. Like, I would be like, this is putting too big of a target on my back. And I think like my knowledge of Survivor has always kind of put a target on my back when I've played in the past, I think. And so like there's already a target there, and so I'm like, I don't want to just tempt them even more by having this idol. But
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, though. I think, yeah, they definitely respect what she's doing more, but I feel like we've complained about those people who have used not playing an idol as a game advantage, though, haven't we? Or haven't you
Yes, but
specifically?
what I'm saying is, I think Rizzo has actually used it not just as that, because
Oh,
like
by it
previous
being
seasons,
displayed. That's the difference.
because
Yeah.
previous
Yeah.
seasons people have like, I didn't use my idol, and that's a move, but he is using it on the offense, not just as
Yeah.
like a defensive, like, don't, like, he's, I think more so in 49, like 49 it was much more talked about and much more like, it's like, I'm gonna play it, just kidding.
Hmm.
This season is just like, it feels like he's just a natural with it. But
And
yeah, I don't
especially
know.
Ozzy also had it for so long that it wasn't a focus until this episode, because now this is the first time that he's the only one with one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I don't know, especially in recent seasons, it feels like the goal is just like, let's get rid of all the advantages first, and then we'll deal with like the actual players, which is kind of
Mhm.
interesting. It's also interesting that now that we're at the final five, these three idols, oh, sorry, four, because the one Devin's got from Mr. Beast. Those were the only idols in the game, which is fascinating. Like on a season of 24 players, we only had 4 idols, 3 that were planted at the original 3 tribes. So like there were no other hidden immunity idols that you could find in the game. There was not a single idol
do you think
you
they
could
were
find.
hidden and they just didn't find them?
I mean, I don't think so. Do you think that's an option? You think like that?
I feel like
Devin's
that,
didn't
I don't
look
know.
hard enough.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's hard to find an idol, but do you think like, oh, no one's finding it in this really hard spot, let's move it to an easier spot? Like, I wonder some of the behind the scenes stuff with that, because there's a part of me that would rather they hide an idol that's never found than them like make sure an idol is found. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I feel like if you're a producer and you're putting an idol on the island, you want it to be found. Like I can't see them being like, because especially these are the people that love these twists and they love to shake it up. So I can't imagine them being like, oh, no one found our idol. Okay, guess there just won't be another one. My assumption would be that like they would make it more obvious to find, but I don't know. Either way, I don't know how I feel about that. Like in a season full of twists, something as basic as like the idol, 3 of them could have been found episode 1. And they've just, stayed in the game. And the only one that has been played, I mean, Rizzo will play his next episode and he'll get to Final 4. Congrats, Rizzo. But the only one that was played was for Devins. And that's like...
I wonder if the timing really matters, weird. Too. Like, oh, there's 3 active idols right now. Let's not throw another one in at Final 8. You know what I mean? Like, I wonder how much that factors in.
Yeah. And I also think, like, I mean, we've seen this. I think this has been a trend in the new era because, like, the combination of people not playing their idols and trying to save them for the final tribal, or the amount of players that make that mistake and then go home with idols. You know, I think, like, we crunched the numbers at some point. At least I remember I did. And, like, just how many idols were actually used correctly in that I'm going to use this idol on myself and I have, or somebody else, and they have the majority of votes. It's not a lot in the new era. So I think just like people's relationship with idols are just not what they used to be. Because you used to find an idol, you used to play it, even on like other people, whatever, and then there'd be a new one hidden. So like, I think people holding on to them is much more stronger than it ever was.
Yeah, I could see that. I do wonder how much that that threat level of the holder matters.
Yeah, no, you're probably right. And unfortunately, Rizzo is not a threat to these people.
Honestly, like that, and genuinely, like I'm coming from that place too, where it's like it kind of sucks that they're not interested in him at all, but they're not.
Well, it also sucks because I think you could edit this season in a way to make this a competitive finale. Outside of like Joe, I think these other 4 players have things that could win them the game, but I don't think it's going to be that competitive. You know, like Jonathan has a resume, Tiffany has a resume, and they all have a diverse resume. None of these people have played the same game. Some of them have secret alliances, some of them won immunity, some of them, had alliance members voted off, and then they came back working with, like they were fluent in their relationships, and I don't know. It's like it's a bummer that going into the finale that neither of us, like, even if we're wrong, the fact that like we are confident on our assumption, like there's no disagreement on us on who we think is going to win.
No, it'd be fascinating if we were. Honestly, it'd be fun if we were wrong.
It depends.
Part of me is kind of rooting for it.
I wouldn't be fun if we were wrong and Joe wins. That would not be fun for me.
Yeah, that would hurt my feelings.
That would be
fair. You make a strong point.
That'd be worse than a Gabler win, as far as like didn't see it coming, also didn't deserve it.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on this Final 5?
No, sir. I got a wedding to get to.
You sure do. All right. Well, quick ranking just to recap. I got Aubrey, then Jonathan, Tiffany, Rizzo, Joe, as far as who I think will win this game. And then we'll
I
also
would
break
flip
down all the
Jonathan
jury
and
votes really
Tiffany.
quick. Oh, interesting.
Hmm? Mm-hmm.
I said we'll also break down all the jury votes right now too, if you got it.
Yeah. That was our best episode ever.
All right. Well, that's it. We'll be back next week for the finale. For more episodes, you know where to find us. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube at NGAP Pod. That's at NGAP Pod. I'm Nathan. This is Tony, and we will see you for the finale.
18 seasons, 2 pals, 1 podcast.